Hello and welcome, lovers of games, dice, and most importantly, stories, to IQ D&D. This is our second episode of the Ramshackle adventure, as it will henceforth be known. I am your effervescent dungeon master, James Webster. I'm going to change the adjective every time. And here are our lovely players. Please introduce yourself, starting with Hugo.
Hi, I'm Hugo Jackson. I obviously belong to Inspired Quill. I'm an author, and my character is Faria Ferraco.
Super. And next, Sarah.
Hi folks, I'm Sara-Jayne Slack. I'm the managing director of Inspired Quill, which basically just means that I answer lots of emails and do a bit of editing. These folks do all the hard work. And my character is actually from James's book Heroine Chic, and I'm playing Wendy Quill.
Lovely. And now Craig.
Hi, I'm Craig Hallam. I do no hard work whatsoever. I am one of IQ's other authors. I tend to write things like steampunk, and my character is Alan Shaw.
Fantabulous. And David.
Hi, I'm David. I'm an author at Inspired Quill, and I write space-based science fiction. I'm the newbie to Dungeons and Dragons, the everyman, and my character is from one of my books called Under the Shell, and they're called Jack Peliarkin. No, Jack Peliarkin. In the book they're called Jack Peliarkin. Here it's called Jack Peliarkin. There we go.
Done. Set. And we've solved all those cross-continuity issues. Brilliant. So when last we left our heroes, they had all followed different investigative strands that all seemed to connect to the same mystery. We had a couple who met in one of the labs where they were looking for Professor Bustius's missing experiment, and the other was pursuing an errand for father, which she received a message saying with dire warnings that this could lead to his death, so took that on herself. On the other side, there was a murder being investigated by Jack, which was a slightly odd territory, where the City Watch, called the Orderlies, couldn't intervene, so they set Jack on the trail. And Wendy got involved because her old friend Slightly had been having a hard time and some weird dreams and things, and just got this sense that there was something weird and bad that had entered the city, and the trail led to the same place as the murder happened. And then, after touching a weird magical aura in the lab, Faria and Alan got teleported into the murder scene. And that is where we left off. So you've just appeared in a cloud of energy. A flash occurs, and the two familiar figures have emerged on the scene.
I kind of feel like touching a ball of energy is maybe not the best idea you ever had.
It's probably not the worst Alan's ever had either, to be fair. It's somewhere on the spectrum, but probably not the worst.
You're now all in the room. There's been a magical discharge, and what do you all want to do?
Probably try not to throw up would be my first action.
Excellent. Do you want to roll a Constitution saving throw for me?
Oh no. 15.
Yeah, that's fine. You feel a little queasy, but you keep it together. No one notices, and you look suitably dramatic still.
Excellent.
I'm going to take a step back from the portally thing that's just sort of spewed out these two, just as a kind of self-preservation thing.
Cool.
So you take a step back.
Kind of take a look around, look at Faria, and just say, well, I actually thought that we'd been disintegrated there, so that turned out all right, didn't it?
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse, yeah.
Guess that takes you
Have
from
you, like-
a distant shore to a not so distant shore. Haha.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I heard that one before.
And to tell you a bit about the room that you're in, after the kind of magic fades, you can see this is a fairly sparse office. There's a desk with some papers on it, blood-stained. There are a couple of little stools, one for the person who died here and one for for any guests. So one is slightly nicer than the other. And there's a bookshelf on one wall, which is that little black squiggly line, kind of oblong that you can see on your map.
Cool. Is there any blood between the paper and the head of the person who died? Like, are there blood splatters elsewhere, or is it literally just on the paper and just on the floor?
So maybe an investigation check to kind of work this out. Work out what might have... So a little crime scene investigation.
Yeah. If I can
I've
find
seen
the
episodes of
details.
Cagney and Lacey. Allow this to
I tell you what, make me a perception check that's going to be easy. That's just going to be a 10 difficulty you need to hit. And then an investigation that will be a bit higher, probably about 15, to try and work out what actually happened.
Okay, right. I've finally got my...
Just before you do that, I just want to make one thing clear, right? I'm being paid to investigate this murder, and I'm not sharing the money with you lot. So if you lot want to just join in, that's absolutely fine. But I'm not sharing the money.
I'm just going to roll my eyes because I've heard this before.
Yeah, multiple times.
I rolled a 9, but I think I have pluses on my...
Yeah, you've got a +1 to your perception.
Yep.
So that'll hit the 10s. So yeah, you see a couple of little other splatters of blood between the desk and the body. They're not a lot. It seems just a couple of droplets across the floor.
Okay.
And what was your investigation? Was that a set? Because did you roll that separately?
My investigation was even worse. I rolled an 8.
Yeah, you've got no idea what happened here.
Oh, we suck at
Like,
this, don't
this
we?
person's probably dead. You haven't checked.
I'm now going to push Sarah aside and
Yeah, so
get
Jack
in on the
pushes Wendy
investigation
aside.
with my extra super big bonuses.
Are we standing in any of the blood? Did we materialize in
No,
the
you have
crime?
thankfully avoided stepping in the blood splatters.
Cool.
I've only been
Okay.
awake a few hours, and it's already been an extraordinarily long day.
So let's just move Jack up to the body. There we go. And yeah, give me an investigation roll. So roll your d20, and you are adding a fairly high number because you are good at this.
Yeah. Okay, I got 14 plus 8.
Wow.
22.
Oof.
To be fair, if I'm still by the door, the fact that I can't see what's happening isn't necessarily to do with the fact that I'm just a bit crap.
And Wendy
Sure.
Yeah, Wendy tells herself this and feels a little better for it.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, looking at the kind of investigation, the kind of layout of the room where the body's fallen and a couple of blood splatters, it seems like this person started bleeding maybe from like the nose or the ears, some kind of on various orifices around their face. Actually, it's a little unfortunate, and then
Blood just
fell
a bloody
backwards, and the blood just kept pooling there. So from a lot of the splatter around there was just from the fall. That most and a bit seems to have just dripped down onto the papers on the table before they fell over. You don't see any really obvious signs of a struggle necessarily.
Do we know who this person is? Because we recognised the mage person, alchemist, in the last room.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
damn it.
is
Zephyr.
the door plate
lost that one.
outside, which two of you will have seen, read Professor Ambrose Mab, the Professor of Peaceful Visitation. So roll, I guess, a
That's
If you want,
that's a
yeah,
little.
it's an ironic little name there, little position. So if you want to know who this person is, I guess roll maybe a history check. What do you think's appropriate?
Let's have a look. Okay. Oh no, this is not going to go well.
Is this all of us, James?
Yeah. If you want to like look at this person's face and think if you know them, yeah, absolutely roll.
That is a massive 8.
You're not sure. Alan meets a lot of people.
I
They
got-
all kind of blend together. They let you know if they're important.
That's so yeah. That's
What did
absolutely
other people
bang
get?
I got 1.
Yeah,
You're not
not
looking at
a
the
clue.
body.
No.
It's just
19.
D20.
Yeah,
Yep.
D20.
19.
So 2 19s, yeah. Those of you who got 19s, this is sometimes a prominent person in the city because sometimes when the gate at the center of Ramshackle opens, it opens to places with an existing government. And when that happens, diplomacy needs to occur.
Ooh.
Diplomancy, that most vile of magical schools. And those places often have wild and alien customs. So there is absolutely a school of research that looks into how to relate to those people, how to negotiate with them, and sometimes those researchers are brought in as experts to help guide the negotiations. And this is definitely one of those people who has been involved in prominent negotiations with Ramshackle to other places. I think that so Jack will probably know this person from back in the days as an orderly on the force. You were probably like on protective detail for this person a couple of times. And for Wendy, what do you think makes sense for how you would come across this person?
Maybe they were one of the first people I spoke to when I came to Ramshackle.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense because you have that storied past and came from other places.
Yeah.
So yeah, this person was one of the people who kind of when you were processed after you came to the city helped you acclimatize and kind of worked out, is there anything we need to be aware of politically about your situation?
Mm-hmm.
Could I quickly just go through his pockets, please?
Yeah, are you being like stealthy about this, or are you just obviously going through the pockets?
I'm kind of doing it while the others are talking.
Are we
Okay.
talking, folks? Is that something that's happening?
Yeah, like
Or whatever you're doing. I'm just trying to surreptitiously go through the pockets.
so while Jack was kind of looking at the body and was kind of like describing it as they went, oh look, they fell over backwards that way. Doesn't seem an obvious murder. What were the rest of you doing? Were you talking or?
So we've been shoved through a magical thing. Why we ended up here, of all places?
A
Next to
magical
a dead
thing
bloke.
where?
Farrier, where were we?
We were trying to.
I wrote it down.
We're in the temple
I
of.
wrote it down. Alan did not write it down.
We were in the temple of Saga, delivering. I was delivering this apron to Professor Zephyr, who appeared to be somewhat prostrate on the floor when we got there, potentially dead.
Yeah, he looked a bit dead as well, didn't he?
Tiny bit.
I was sent to turn off a magical machine, which is why I poked the thing, and then I poked it, and then we ended up here.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I think the body you saw in the other lab, you didn't have a chance to really look at it properly before you touched the magical vortex and got sucked
we can
in.
go
So
back. We know where
you're not,
it is.
You're not really
He's
sure.
not going to
Yeah.
move. He's
But
dead.
yeah, So yeah, and you all know that temple to Saga was in the Candle district of Ramshackle. Okay, so there was some talking that did happen. So by all means, make a stealth roll for me, or I guess actually no, a sleight of hand roll is what's fitting for this.
Yes. 16.
Okay, let me just check what everyone's passive perception is.
13.
14 for me.
Okay, I don't think Wendy's is gonna be.
11.
Yep, there we go. So yeah, no one really notices you going through the pockets. They just think you're examining the body.
Excellent.
In those pockets, you find various quills and kind of an ink pot. What else would this person have? Like a small pouch of money with just like a handful of silver and copper pieces in it. So say like 4 silver pieces and 8 copper. If you want to take that, you can.
That's in my
That's
pocket
gone.
now.
Great. Please remember to add that to your character sheet. 4 silver and 8 copper.
Where do I put
And there is about halfway down, there's a little bit with, we'll say CP, SP, EP, GP.
Yes.
So you can just add it in there.
8 copper and 4 silver.
Yep. So not a huge amount of money, but what you might expect an academic to be carrying around just for their daily tasks. And not much else. It seems this person wasn't carrying a lot on them.
Can we take a look at the letter? Is it in a language that we can read?
Yeah, if you want to walk over to the desk and have a look at it's not just a letter, it's actually a little stack of papers.
Okay.
And it seems that the title which is scratched out a couple of times. This person tries to come up with the right title for this paper, and the current title seems to be a treatise on the city-states of the Tangle, a meditation on rebirth.
Everyone's desperately writing.
Let's see, I had this somewhere. A meditation on rebirth, shifting perspectives, and and the perpetual society.
Interesting.
And
what about the papers underneath? Do they have any sort of titles or?
no, they seem to be just a continuation of this
Okay.
of this paper that he's been writing.
Okay. The
And
desk.
it's quite dense academic language.
Fun.
Okay, who's got the
I think I
slot?
just got a headache hearing you read that out, actually.
Yeah. Does the desk have any drawers?
Yeah, there are a couple of drawers there.
Can we see if they're unlocked?
They see if you want to do you want to give them a rattle?
Yeah, I'll give the one I'm closest to, which I think would be the left-hand side, probably.
That opens easily enough. Actually, give me a perception check as well while you're opening this.
Okay. Natural 20.
Oh wow, yeah. You notice actually there are some scuffs on the top of kind of the join on the drawer, and the lock on it actually you first thought it was just unlocked, but it looks like this has actually been forced open.
Okay.
Previously, and it's a little bit of a mess of papers in here. There doesn't seem to be anything too interesting.
Okay. I think I'm probably going to say out loud that it looks like this drawer's been forced open. Jack, have you seen any indication that someone else was in this room before we were, apart from this guy?
I'm having a look around.
Yeah. Actually, with that natural 20 as well, because I want to honor the natural 20, that you see there, it looks like there are some little kind of marks, just scratches in the wood around that lock. And as you kind of look down, these seem to come up the leg of the desk as well, almost like something small has kind of clawed their way up it.
Okay.
And that it leaves a few scratches in the door, in the floorboards as well.
Right. Is it possible to look back, if that makes sense? So go down the leg and then across the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like something might have come in the window.
I know that's how this is going to sound, folks, but I think it might have been rodents.
I'm just going to kind of look from the paper to the dead body. I'm like,
Not the dead body, the drawer thing. Whatever's happened here. Look, you can see the marks.
How does everyone react to this?
I mean, yeah, I can
Because
see the
bear in mind, Wendy
marks, but,
hasn't said anything too much about the drawer as they've been investigating it. So just come out with, I think it might be rodents.
I'll kind of look at Farrier and just be like,
It's because my brain just goes 3 steps ahead and I forget that other people can't see inside my brain.
Absolutely.
Is there anything in the drawer?
Hmm?
Is there anything in the drawer?
Papers, it looks like, nothing of much importance. Feel free to have a check yourself, though.
No kind of nest or anything.
No, it doesn't look like anything's been nesting in
the
there.
drawer's been forced open.
Yeah, what about the other drawer?
I've not checked. I'm not on that side of the table.
is the window closed?
No, the window is still open.
Okay.
If I look out the window, what part of the city am I overlooking, or what do I see?
So if you look out the window, and you're still, this is a ground floor office, so you can just see the kind of garden quad of this college building.
Okay.
So does that mean it's internal facing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's another one, isn't there? Because we had the option of jumping in through the window.
So you did, and
There's
I wish
always one.
you had to remember that, didn't you? Okay, let's say this is a building on 3 sides. So there's like a copter of 3 sides, and then it's open. So you could have gone in through the yeah.
Quad.
It still has 4 sides. It's just one is kind of open onto a little bit of parkland, and that's where you could have gone in through and into a window. That makes the most sense. Thank you, David.
Sorry.
I heard thank you, but my brain registered it as another 2-word phrase.
Oh, that's weird. I think you should take a look at that.
That's weird.
I just assumed that if I had gone in through the window, I'd have been in the wrong office.
No, this it is indeed the office you thought it was, and that is the window that you could have gone through.
Okay. Cool.
So I've not been writing down anything that Alan doesn't know. So I don't know what part of the city those guys were in when they came into this office. So whereabouts are we?
So you can guess on the fact this looks kind of like an academic building that you would be in the district of Puzzle.
I do remember you saying that now. Yeah, thanks.
Can we look in this other drawer?
Yeah, the other drawer opens. You have a look at the lock. The lock seems to be functioning, so it doesn't look like this one was locked. And again, just the kind of things you'd expect in an academic's kind of drawer. So again, a couple of blank sheets of paper. Again, more pen and ink. A kind of slim academic pamphlet that is again not really too interesting. It's it's like a history of Ramshackle's interactions with kind of other planes through the gate. Very much just kind of listing this date, this kind of plane, this kind of culture, and then on to the next one. So
I'm gonna pocket that actually.
Yeah, absolutely can do that.
Can I ask a bit of a meta question, which is, would I know Faria?
Do you think it makes sense for you two to know each other? I think we've said actually this group have all worked together before.
Yeah,
I
either
think
like in pairs,
like
or
on previous jobs that have come up, I reckon you'll have met.
I've probably chased her down and admired her grappling hook at some point.
Faria, I know that your father's obviously more of a tailor than a tinker, but can you figure out how the lock was broken? Was it force, or do you think they used something on the desk?
I can take a look.
Yeah, let me just. What what are you kind of using to take a look at this? Do you have? You've got Smith's tools.
I do,
So
yes.
make me a proficiency roll with your Smith tools. So plus your dex plus plus 3.
19.
Ooh, yeah. So it very much seems like something small but quite strong for its size just seized onto this desk and kind of applied pressure in extreme pressure in a kind of controlled way to open it. So there wasn't a lot of finesse, but it was something small and strong for its size.
Not a load of rodents having lock picks in their mouths then and trying to, like rats of Nim style.
No, it looks like it's definitely this. It's definitely kind of wrecked the lock. The tumblers are kind of bent out of shape.
Okay, so
I was imagining like 20 rats in a trench coat.
like a rat king.
Yeah.
It looks like it was forced in a very specific way, but definitely sort of mangled it from the inside.
But that doesn't make any sense. Why would rodents want to open a drawer in a dead guy's office?
Yeah, I'll say it as well.
Back to bed, actually. You guys have got this, right?
You're staying with us.
Sorry.
Sorry, James.
I will say as well for Faria, you get the impression that whoever did this, while probably too small to like use tools, was smart.
Okay.
It knew how locks worked.
Right. Okay. So it knew what it was doing, even though we don't know what it is.
Can I
look for some? Can I look for footprints? Both in the room and look out the window and see if there's any outside.
Absolutely. Give me an investigation check again.
A 3. Great.
So that does come up to a 10 total, but no, I don't think that you see much more that Wendy hasn't already picked out. So there's just that little trail of scratches in the floorboards, kind of up to and then towards the window. It's hard to say whether it's in or out or both.
I was just about to say, did they go in both directions?
Yeah, I was going to say as well. I'll just climb out of the window and start taking a look outside. I'm looking for grates, drains, sewers, anything that rats could climb up through.
Yeah, fantastic.
Are you
just going to go take a look?
Or
because,
are we just going to assume that you're buggering off?
No, I'll just be back in a bit. I'm just going to look outside and I'll just be like.
All right, give me
I could walk
an
around,
athletics
but then,
check. Give me an athletics check to climb out this window.
Oh,
it's
man.
like it's not hard to climb out a window. The athletics check is to make sure you do this without like disturbing too much in the room. It's like you're in a crime
I'm using
scene.
my cursed dice here as well. So, dirty 20 though, not that cursed.
Very good. Yeah, so it's very, very smoothly without stepping on it. So you, Alan, kind of lifts up the window and vaults out of it into the outside. This is the smooth action of someone who knows what they're doing.
How many coffees has he had this morning?
Actually, I had an apple stolen off from me this morning. I've not really eaten much at all.
I had a pint of porridge.
You had some Guinness, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, Guinness.
Yeah, it was a breakfast beer. It did have oats in it, so it was not unlike porridge.
Perfectly normal. But yeah, I'll be looking around for kind of any gutters around the edge of the square that rats might follow, or
absolutely.
sewer entrances, that kind of thing.
Let me just do something on.
I'm sitting down on one of the stools now.
All right, I'm gonna.
I can't look at that.
There you go. So you've emerged into the quad. And what you
there's me.
Can see is there are a few statues of famous academics who've been to this institution, like former headmasters and the like. And you do see in the middle a water feature, a little pond with a little fountain. And yeah, a little grate at the bottom for the water to fall through, presumably into the sewers. That's the only obvious thing you can see in that area that might maybe a rodent or something similar size might have escaped down or come out of. Okay. And make me a perception check as well while you're out here.
Okay. Where is my? There it is. Come on, cursed dice, don't fail me. It's only a 9.
Okay, give me 1 second. I have to make my first roll of this game.
Oh no.
Ooh.
No. Webs, no.
Yeah, you don't see
Have some
anything.
really evil
No.
music in the background, reaching a crescendo.
It's a nice morning. It's a lovely garden. The water feature kind of burbles. You can hear the sounds of learning from some of the open
The
windows
sounds
on
of
the other side of the
learning.
quad. Yeah,
Down
just
it, down it,
there's-
down it.
this is not so much the students' union as one of the academic buildings. So there's just the sound of someone lecturing, kind of gently droning off in the distance. It's quite nice.
This might be a weird question. Can
Oh.
I smell anything specific around the room?
That's a very good question. Roll me a perception check as well.
21.
Ooh, baby. Okay, let's go back to the room. I'm gonna do some. So there you go. You've got an academic paper there. I will fill in the result of what you have smelled. So let's say the window's on this side of the room. But yeah, you get a strong scent of something sewery. So
Ooh.
something. It's unpleasant. It's a little bit fatty, a little bit dirty. You don't like it very much.
No.
Let's see what else we've got. So I'm just going to draw a line there to show where the body fell from.
Would it be possible to check to see if I can lock the door from the inside? Because the last thing we need right now is for someone to walk in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no.
I don't think that's too hard. The door definitely has like a little bolt on the on this side that
I'm
you can.
very quietly going to. Can I'm assuming that it's the kind of bolt that just goes up and slides, so I don't need both hands for it.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So you close that.
Mhm.
Text go there. Good. I think those are the main things you've worked out about the room. So yeah, you all hear this kind of smooth, sliding, clunky sound of a bolt sliding into place. What else do you wish to do? Does Alan want to do anything out in the quad? Do any of you want to do anything?
Can I
In the room?
follow the smell, potentially?
With a 21, you 100% can.
Okay.
You can. It definitely feels stronger near the window.
Okay. If I climb out the window, would I be able to follow it around the quad, do you think?
Yeah, that might involve. You know what? No, you rolled 21. So yes, you can absolutely follow it around the quad.
Okay.
Do you want to go out the window?
Sure, yeah.
I was while Farrier's climbing out, I was going to come back, poke my head through, and just say, so let's say that I believe you that some rat with a lot of brains came in, snuck in, and stole something from a drawer. Hypothetically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
probably went down a drain out here, I think.
I mean, it smells that way.
That was
Okay,
me.
if we're running with this theory,
I'll just
how
be
does-
like-
how does a rat cave somebody's head in?
Yeah, okay,
Well,
okay.
it
Let's
doesn't look as
say that
though the body has any external issues, right?
If we're
So-
looking at... Sorry, go
I
ahead.
mean, it's a bit cold at the minute.
If we're
Well, no, it
looking...
doesn't look as though anyone hit this academic.
But if we're looking at something that can dissect a lock with a considerable amount of force in a very specific way without leaving much in an external manner, possibly, if he just bled from the nose, then it could have done the same with his face, potentially, or his head, if it knows the inner mechanisms of something and can affect them through a surface. Maybe some kind of psychic or force damage, I'm not sure. That would be my idea.
Yep.
Interesting.
All makes perfect sense. Yep. So we're talking about a psychic rat with a very small prying crowbar.
That smells really bad.
Yep. This all sounds perfectly feasible to me.
Okay, right. Motive. We have motive.
Well, not at the moment. I mean, from the
No. The motive was in the
thing
drawer.
on the desk, it's not exactly.
Yeah, whatever was taken from the drawer will be what motive is. I
Well,
imagine.
exactly, but we don't have anyone else to ask about it.
Maybe the
Not
rat
going back
overheard
out
him
there.
talking about his academic paper and just lost it when it got to the end of the title because it was so bloody boring.
We've probably been there for a couple
Maybe
of
it was a
hours by
pet
that
rat.
point.
I mean,
Maybe
to
it
be
was
fair,
in a cage, and then he was like, "I can't take it anymore," and just broke open the drawer. And
there's no cages in here, Alan.
fine, I'm out. I had an idea. That's my one idea for the day.
Yeah. Some stuff that I'll say to you as the GM, just to make sure I'm making this clear. You haven't had a really good look around the rest of the room yet.
Bookshelves.
Like, yeah, there are bookshelves. You found some tracks, and you've worked out how kind of the forensics of how the blood spat and how the body fell. But there might be other things here. I just want to make that clear on like a meta level, just so you're not thinking that you've found everything there is to find, and I'm leaving you in the lurch.
Okay. To the bookshelves.
Well, Hugo. While Farrier goes running around outside, chasing down a smell, we'll look at the shelves. Is that what's happening?
I think
That
so.
can absolutely
I'll be
what's
out
happening.
if you need
Yeah.
me.
Okay, so we'll deal with the bookshelves first. So you have a look at the shelves. Can someone give me? I will want one of you to give me a perception check and another to give me an investigation check.
I think I should do the investigation.
You
Yes.
absolutely can. If you're doing this together, then you can do these at advantage because you're helping each other.
Okay.
So advantage means you roll twice and take the highest.
Okay, so I won't be taking the 2 then. So what was my rolling next? Oh, 3. Brilliant. Love it.
Okay, so that's your perception check. That's fine.
I got a 12 and a 20.
Is that with the numbers with your
No,
modifier
that's just
added?
the numbers on the die.
So you rolled a 20 on your investigation.
Ooh.
Fantastic. So a natural 20 for 27 total. That's amazing. We're going to do Sarah first. So Wendy, you kind of have a look at the bookshelf in general, at the titles, whilst Jack is kind of rooting through them a little bit more actively, and kind of looking to see which ones have been touched recently, which ones have dust on them or not. And what you see is that these sure are some books.
Cool.
They have
I'm more of a doer rather than a reader, to be honest.
like what you can tell is they seem to be made of paper.
Okay, cool.
They've got mostly leather covers.
Okay.
And you know what? These bookshelves are made out of a really nice cherry wood.
Okay.
And you just admire the workmanship for a bit.
Okay, cool.
Meanwhile, Jack, you were looking through the books, and it looks like, based on like the patterns of dust and the marks therein, the ones that have been pulled out more recently are again books relating to again that extraplanar diplomacy, but specifically because you have a look at the contents pages and cross-reference them, and the things that seem to be in common between all these books are cultures where rebirth is definitely a part of their society, societies that have people with kind of like telepathic or psychic abilities come up a fair amount. Several of these books reference a little known kind of set of city-states that seem to be referenced in the academic paper on the table as well, called the Tangle, which seems to be a collection of almost like free-floating city-states that travel almost between dimensions. So often they don't have a lot of contact with other places because they're always moving. So their neighbors keep changing. And you just get a bit of an idea of what is important to that place, and some of the different things that seem to be referenced for this academic paper. The common kind of species that people interact with when they come across the Tangle are like things like the Githzerai, who are a kind of telepathic psionic species. The illithids come up as well, also known as mind flayers, who are quite nasty if you get on their bad side.
Really, they did not give that away.
Yeah. Again, telepathic psychic abilities, kind of like squid-like appendages coming out of their face.
Sorry, what did you say the Githzerai do?
They are kind of quite contemplative and thoughtful. They use their kind of telepathic and psionic abilities to kind of contemplate the nature of the universe, whereas the illithids are more actively interpersonal, shall we say. But what you find as well from you check in the paper as well, and it seems that actually a lot of what people think about these species, especially as they're present in the Tangle, is a misapprehension, because the ones who've ended up in the Tangle are ones who, as may have been referenced earlier, have been reborn in some way. So they are in some way separate from their previous societies, so they might not fit the kind of stereotypes of what you'd expect those peoples to be. So a lot of people who have interacted with the Tangle see, all right, we're dealing with the Githzerai, we're dealing with the Illithids, and they think that they'll work in a certain way, and they don't. You also get, in one footnote, there is a reference to some people from the Tangle who are shape changers of some kind. They're referenced as changelings. They always seem to be humanoid, but it's often hard to tell if you've encountered one, because often they'll pretend to be Illithid or Githzerai, and you won't know unless you see them change. And it seems like they have some good reason to try and stay hidden. Finally, you got a natural 20, so I had to tell you lots of stuff.
Yeah, but Jack doesn't have to tell the rest of us, so
Yes,
that's going to be fun.
That's absolutely true. Finally, the thing you'll note is that anyone who has been reborn in this way will have some mark on them, either something small or it could be something big, that is indicative of death in some way. So they might have like visible veins or necrosis, or they might be a bit zombie-ish or a bit vampire-ish, in some place or in some way that is discernible. Yeah, that's what you get.
All going down in my little investigator's pad.
Brilliant.
While Wendy looks at stuff.
Yep, no, seriously, the person who made this really knew what they were doing on this on these bookshelves. You have a quick look to see if there's like a maker's mark in case you want some furniture for yourself later.
Look at the dovetailing on this corner.
Ooh, love it. Just the grain of the wood. And I think from like Jack's perspective, we get like a kind of Sherlock style investigative montage where you're looking at things and they're popping up on the screen. You can cross-reference them. So that's a fun editing challenge for Hugo. You do not have to do that. Okay. Well, that was a joke.
Hugo's outside. Faria's outside sniffing the ground.
Absolutely. So let's cut to there. So I'm going to switch the maps again. So here you go. You're here. You follow the scent, and I think you got rolled high on your your perception check. So I think you can follow it. And again, yeah, it kind of seems like it starts from that grate by the fountain.
Okay.
And then, yeah, as you expect, it goes to the office, which is kind of up here. Comes back out of the office, but doesn't immediately go back to the fountain and that grate into the sewer.
Ooh.
So you're kind of following it. Currently, you're following it through these kind of bushes around here, around this statue, and it seems like it goes maybe further down in that direction.
Okay. Should I guess do I see that it may be coming to the source of the smell?
It's hard to say. It smells like it's a fairly recent trail, which is
Okay.
how you can follow it, because over time, especially if it's just been in this place and followed this path once, it'll definitely fade.
Okay.
But you could follow it further, but it's just this is where you've got to in the time that you've had.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll follow it a little bit further.
Okay, cool. So you follow it across this path here, and it seems like it leads kind of around this statue. So I'm going to ask you at this point to make another perception check.
Okay. 15.
You don't. Yeah, it kind of follows around past this statue and kind of round behind it, and you're looking around the ground and a little bit of shrubbery around it. You can't see anything.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask everyone to roll initiative now.
Sugar.
So that is the record, a D20, and you add to that your dexterity modifier.
I need a new dice. I got a 4.
Okay.
I got 18.
I mean, if you need someone to like flip a
Okay.
table, that'd be me.
Yeah. What was Jack's order?
12 plus 3, I think it is, isn't it?
So 15. Wendy's was 3. Is that right? And Alan's was...
A 13.
That bookcase has really sucked you in, hasn't it?
I just
And-
love the craftsmanship.
So Wendy's officially the kind of person who goes into a bric-a-brac store and comes
yeah.
out 3 days later.
It's very on brand.
Oh, what is... Oh, no, I don't need to ask that. That's fine. That's great.
He's doing this to unnerve us. He's doing it on purpose.
Easy. Am I? Yes.
Sorry.
What's your max XP? Oh, it doesn't matter.
Not important.
Make a perception check.
So to start
Never
with,
mind.
it is Farria's turn. On your turn, I'm going to let you make another perception check.
Okay. 19.
Will not do it, I'm afraid. You were looking for a 20.
Oh god. Wow.
Oh no.
So, and now I can add one more initiative to the thing. So let's just do this.
I'm a long way away from my friends.
Let me just add this in.
I'm at least outside. Just smooching around.
I'm reading. Just reading. Going to take a swig from my so-called water skin as well.
All right, so Faria, you're looking around the back of the statue around here, and take something on the GM layer.
Oh no.
Let's give you a turn. That comes in there, and then I will make you visible. Okay, so you should now see something added to the map.
Okay.
Oh no.
And Faria, you kind of look up because you hadn't looked up yet.
Okay.
Is it a
But
sheep?
you kind of feel the wind on your face, and it's a nice cool breeze, and you look up, and it's a nice change to the kind of sewery smell you've been following. And up on the statue is something that, at first glance, it looks like it might be a rat, but but then you go, wait, no, rats don't have visible brains. That's weird. And what this looks like, more than anything else, is just a little brain with little scurrying claw-like bony legs. And it doesn't have eyes, but you kind of feel it looking down at you. And I'm going to ask you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh no. Okay.
As you kind of feel it looking, its intense presence on you, and something scrabbles at the edges of your mind.
Well, yes, it does. 2.
Oh no! That is
Caught you
not.
off guard.
That is not what you needed. So I'm just gonna roll some dice here for damage.
No.
I'm nice, but I'm not smart.
How many hit points do you have?
8.
Okay. You feel suddenly your brain feels like it's on fire. There's this intense explosion of pain. Oh god, I also have to do this. And you feel something drained out of you, being pulled into this creature. You were very lucky there. Please lose 3 intelligence points temporarily.
Okay.
I rolled 3d6 there and rolled 3 ones.
Ooh.
That could have
I
been very
cannot
bad.
lose 8.
Unfortunately, you also take 10 hit points of psychic damage.
I am unconscious.
Cool. So you all hear from out in the quad a scream.
Okay.
And it is, in the turn order, it is Jack's turn. Let's go back to the office.
My hand automatically goes straight to my short bow.
Uh-huh.
And yeah,
And I'm just going to put in... So the window's here. I'm just drawing these little blue lines.
yeah. So I leap over to the window holding my short bow and see if there's anything I can shoot at.
Super. So let's move you. So it's... Yeah, you can get to the window easily, and let's have a look out. How far is it to this thing? So you see out the window Farrier by one of the statues. You can just see past some of the shrubbery as is falling over after screaming. A look of intense pain on her face. And you can just about see some little tiny creature on the statue above her. It's about 80 feet away from you. Let me just check the range on your short bow. So the kind of the range that your short bow is effective is up to 320 feet, but over 80 feet you make rolls at disadvantage because that's a long range. So this is just within range where you could fire a shot and have a reasonable chance of hitting it.
How close is it to Farrier?
Very close, directly above.
I'm not going to take the shot. I'm too worried about hitting her.
What I will say from a mechanical point of view in D&D is there are no rules for accidentally hitting an ally.
Oh, right, okay.
If you rolled a natural 1, which is always a fail, I might rule that would potentially hit one of your friends or something unfortunate, but it is assumed by the rules of Dungeons & Dragons that you are competent enough that when there's a bit of separation between targets, you will not miss terribly.
Right. Okay, I will take a shot then. Little git. It'll
Lovely.
get it.
So roll a d20.
18.
That will definitely hit because you're also adding. See, where are your weapons? You're also adding a 5 to that. So roll me a 1d6 and add 3 to the result.
Oh, 1. And add 3 to the result, 4.
Okay, so your arrow does hit this weird little brain-like scurrying thing. It kind of cuts it across it kind of brings up one of the little limbs to protect its brain, and the arrow glances off at that limb, cutting through its kind of wiry, leathery skin, and there's a little splatter of dark blood across the statue behind it. That is your turn. You have about 10 feet of movement left. If you wanted to go through the window, you could.
Yes, I'd like to, please.
Lovely.
Are you coming, Wendy?
Yeah, when it's my turn.
Yeah, no, I mean, are you going to follow me?
Oh, yes. I probably will, yes.
Cool.
All right, so I'll move you to the other map. You're not that big. So you're about there now. Kind of just come out. There's some bushes in front of you, a path a little way on, and at that statue over there, you can see Farrier and this thing. So let's move the whole map over to that one. Okay, next up is Alan Shaw.
Okay, cokey.
So you heard a scream. Your friend Jack just went up to the window, fired their short bow out of it, and then climbed out the window.
I was already on the other side of that window, wasn't I? So I'm guessing I'm about 80 feet away.
Yeah, I think I thought you climbed back in to chat to people about.
Oh, I just kind of stuck my head through.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you're still just outside it. So I'll make sure you are on the map.
80 feet-ish.
Yeah, it is 80 feet from the window to the thing.
So I will use my action to dash.
Fantastic. So you can move your token yourself if you want, or I can move it for you.
No
So
problem.
you'll be able to move 60 feet if you dash.
20, 30, 40, 50,
How big are the squares?
60.
The squares are all 5 feet square. So 5 by 5.
So I can't quite get close enough, but on the next round, I'll try and get to Farrier.
Absolutely, because that uses your movement and your action. So that is, unless you have a bonus action to use, that's pretty much your turn.
No, I don't really. No, that's probably me.
All right, so Wendy, you are still inside the room. Everyone else has left. One person fired an arrow out of it first. You heard a scream. What do you do?
I follow.
Lovely.
Straight out the window. With my -1 dex.
I'm not going to make you roll for getting out the window. It is not too difficult, and you're no longer that concerned about messing things up in the room.
Correct.
So let's
Finally torn yourself away from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say
Just
it's going to take you 20 feet of your movement to get out the room and out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So that will put you. Paste. That puts you there with 10 feet of movement remaining. You can take an action to dash, or you could use your action to make an attack if you have a ranged weapon or spell.
How? What's the range of my grappling hook?
Yes. What a good question. I will say that it's the equipment
I
you
don't
would be
think it'll
using
too long
at
because
level 1. Yeah, I think you would effectively have, when we're looking at starting equipment, right? You would have a grappling hook and 50 feet of rope. So I'm going to say you could at maximum throw kind of fire or throw your grappling hook 50 feet.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be quite in range this turn.
Sure. So I reckon that I wouldn't ever try and reach that limit unless in dire circumstances, because I am not the most graceful of paladins. I think I will probably use my action to... Can I dash and draw my sword at the same time?
Yeah, you absolutely can. Drawing a weapon is a free object interaction.
Cool. I will do that then. Just make it
super. So you can move yourself another 40 feet total. So that's 8 squares.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Go on, Wendy, have
Lovely.
at it.
Wendy smash.
Okay, marvelous. So moving on, it is now Farria's turn, which means I need you to make a death saving roll, Hugo.
Okay.
So roll a d10. You don't add anything. You want a 10 or higher.
13.
Sorry, d20. Yes,
Yep.
13. You've succeeded on your first death saving throw. This works for those who don't know. If you succeed in 3 death saving throws, you are stabilized, which means you're still not conscious, but you are not in danger of death. If you fail 3, then you die. On a natural 20, you automatically come back up to consciousness on 1 hit point. On a natural 1, you fail 2 death saving throws. So, unfortunately, sorry about this, Hugo, that is your turn.
Yep, it's okay.
It is now the things go. So, yeah, this thing is just going to jump down off the statue. It's going to move over to Alan. And the first thing it's going to do is it kind of just scrabbles up your leg and tries to rend you with its little claws, just rending your leg and stomach. So it's going to make an attack roll.
Roll low. Roll.
That's a 15. What's your armor class?
14, that is.
Oh no!
All right.
We're dropping like flies.
Cool. So that's going to do 6 damage to you. 6
no.
slashing damage as it just rends you down your thigh.
Ow, you little git.
It is then...
Hold on, Alan, we're on our way.
Because it can kind of sense it kind of, again, it doesn't have eyes, so it's weird that it looks up at Wendy running towards it, and it's gonna move 1, 2, so 10 feet towards you. So Alan, you get, if you want, to use your reaction to make an opportunity attack.
I certainly will. I'll just do an unarmed strike and just throw a kick at it.
Marvelous. Make your roll.
I thought you said throw a Kit Kat then.
Throw a kick at it. Take
Yeah, this
that.
is establishing 2 things about this world. Kit Kats exist. The branded chocolate Kit Kat, and that it is an improvised melee weapon. Well done.
Yeah, when we say
Like throwing stars, you have to
Yeah.
break it in half and then throw each one individually.
Yeah, so it's a 4-shot item. What did you roll on your attack?
That's only an 11?
Is that with your modifiers?
Yeah.
That just misses it. So it kind of crouches down and your kick goes over it
How
as
big
you
is it,
swing
just out of
wildly.
interest?
It is very small. So it's about the size of a human brain with legs.
Okay.
So anything ranging from me to David
Yeah.
with legs.
And then as it looks up at Wendy, I'm going to ask Wendy to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh, okay.
Come on, you've got this. You've got this.
Just
You're good.
I have mental discipline. Just as an FYI.
And that gives you advantage on intelligence saving throws, am I right?
Resistance to psychic damage.
Ah, cool. That's
So-
very good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, that's useful.
And it's
So,
advantage on wisdom saving throws that you have from dual mind.
yes. That
So
is-
yeah, roll 1d20 and add your intelligence saving throw modifier.
Okay, so I have rolled a 13 plus 1, which is 14.
Okay, marvelous. Nothing happens. You feel this thing reach out with its kind of malign intellect, but your mental fortitude is strong. It just bounces off you. Okay, it's now Jack's turn. So Jack, you're seeing this thing has scuttled along the floor and has attacked Alan and has kind of done a weird eyeless glare at Wendy. What would you like to do?
Drawing my rapier, run towards it.
Cool. So what I'll say is you have a move action with which you can move 30 feet, so 6 squares. If you want to also attack, then you would not be able to get within melee range of it this turn. So your options are you could use your action to dash and get within melee range of it, or you could use your movement to get 30 feet closer to it and then fire your short bow again.
I want to get up to it.
Cool. So you dash, so you run across. Do you want to move yourself or shall I move you?
Yeah, I'm moving myself for the first time. So do I get to move an extra, 2?
You get to move a total of 12 spaces. There we go. You're right up next to it.
Yeah.
Super. And I don't believe as a level 1 rogue that you have any bonus actions yet. So it is Alan's turn. Alan, this thing has just slashed your thigh and run off. It's now between you, Jack, and Wendy, so you've almost got it surrounded. But also, you know that Faria is behind you by the statue.
Yeah, I'm just going to head over to Faria. Can I make a medicine check to see if I can help out?
100% can.
What's my medicine thing? I keep flitting between using D&D Beyond and rolling manually. I need to pick one, really.
Your medicine, I believe, is plus
15.
2.
Yeah.
Great. So that is enough to stabilize Faria. So you kind of investigate. Faria, it seems to be bleeding from the nose and the ears in a very similar fashion to what happened. What you saw from the guy in the office, and what does you think Alan does to help someone who suffered this kind of psychic shock to their system?
Cup of tea.
Just shove both fingers up her nose, whichever's. If she's got like a nosebleed, just be like,
Yeah. So remember as well, Faria is kind of a vulpine person as well. So you've got this very delicate nose that you just start sticking your fingers up. And it's almost, I think it's more like the shock of this than anything else that stops this, that stabilizes Faria. Because even in this kind of semi-conscious state where you're bleeding into the ground, you kind of half feel this. You're like, no, my nose is sensitive.
Get off.
Great.
Is it wet, Alan? Is the nose wet?
It's cold. Is it supposed to be cold or warm? I can't remember which way round it is.
So I'm just going to move your token over there. So you're next to Faria, and that is your movement and your action.
Yeah,
so
I'm just going to bonus action second wind just to heal myself up a little bit.
Lovely, excellent use of that fighter feature. So just, add those hit points back on. So it is now Wendy's turn.
Wendy smash. Have I, as not an action, can I see Faria moving, sitting up, anything like that? Because what I do will be based on whether I think Faria is stable.
No, you can see Alan tending to Faria. Faria's not really come round to consciousness again, but doesn't seem to be in immediate danger of death.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to try and hit the brain on legs with my sword, I think.
Marvelous. So move yourself that one step closer, or wherever you want to be that's within melee range. So just as long as you are adjacent to it, you're fine.
Yeah.
Great. And roll your d20.
So 19. No, 16. Sorry, 16.
That will still hit. Yes. So roll your damage. So that's 1d8 plus your strength bonus.
I should have had the d8 out. Do I have a d8? 1 second. No, that's a d12. That is a good question about the
it's a-
D8, Mr.
It's a
GM.
D8 plus 3. You can roll it on roll 20 if you want. Just
Yes, I can, can't
like
I?
/ roll space D8.
Okay, 1 second. Oh.
All right. So that is 7 damage total. So again, you slash it, you kind of slash. I think what happens is, it raises the little limb to protect itself against your cutlass as you slash at it. And you cut one of its little claws off and then slash through it and do a slash across the brain.
Cool.
And so kind of this this ichor starts to rise up out of that slash, kind of thick, inky.
Okay.
This thing was looking a bit hurt so far.
Does anybody think we should be trying to arrest it?
No.
Amazing. So at this point, kind of hearing the kerfuffle out here, you see one of the windows from the first floor opens, and a professor looks out. She looks kind of middle-aged, tight bun, academic robes, and she kind of tries to work out what on earth is going on down here, and rolls very highly on her insight check. And so does not get the wrong idea, and looks at Faria, who's injured on the ground, and starts casting a spell, and this kind of lyrical, kind of musical incantation spills out of her lips. The sounds almost seeming to the syllables almost glowing in the air as they stream down towards Faria, and Faria recovers 4 hit points.
Wow, nice.
So you are conscious and on 4 hit points.
Yay.
And it is now your turn.
Nice. All right.
Is that the first thing that Faria says when she wakes up? That'd be great. Just sits up, just goes, I'm pissed off.
I am pissed off. Okay. what
Get
can I
your
do?
fingers out of my nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's more. Get your fingers on my nose.
We're going to have a chat about some tabaxi physiology, all right?
And personal space issues.
Yeah.
It's been mentioned before.
Okay, I am going to... What have I got? My cantrips.
Hugo's got a plan.
I've got a ton of cantrips that
Hugo's
I'm
always
able
got
to
a
use.
plan.
Okay, in my dazed state, I still recognize the fact that this horrible-looking brain blade kind of thing kind of screwed me over. So I'm going to make a ranged attack with produce flame at it.
Very good. Now, is that an attack roll, or does that initiate a saving throw?
It is an attack roll. It's a ranged spell attack.
Amazing. So yeah, roll that d20 and add your proficiency bonus and your charisma modifier.
Okay. It's not very much. Charisma plus 5, 3, 8, and so that is 10.
That'll miss, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So this arcane kind of spout of flame shoots off, appears in your hand, and you throw it at this thing, and it misses and hits a rose bush on the other side of the quad, and a gardener who has been working on the far side, and also kind of cowering from this fight happening because they want nothing to do with this, just goes, "Oi!"
Look, I'm in a bit of a state, all right? Give me a minute.
No excuse to not respect nature.
I'm nature, thanks. Didn't respect me, did it?
Your face is nature.
That's a weird flex. I am nature.
And now it is the thing's turn.
No.
So let me just. So it's going to again try and take a slash with its claws at Wendy, who's just hit it with a cutlass.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 17. Will that hit?
No.
Oh, nice.
18 armor class.
So yeah, you get your shield down. It kind of scrabbles and scratches at your shield, but it doesn't hit you. It's then going to
Sorry,
turn.
can I just confirm? Now that I've got my shield on, I cannot use my grappling hook. Just as an FYI.
If you want to use your grappling hook, then I will say that you're basically no longer using the kind of buckler you've got strapped to your arm, and thus you will not have the AC bonus from that. So
Okay, cool.
basically, choose on each round if you want to switch from using your shield
that or
to
like
using
that.
your hook.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And that can be an object interaction for you.
Cool.
So it's then going to look up again. It kind of twists round, and the brain points in Jack's direction. Can Jack also please make me an intelligence saving throw?
Yeah. Hold on, I need to open my thing again. There we go. I think I'm going to do well with this.
Oh, you said the words.
I did, didn't I?
So you've got +6 to this.
Yes.
Come on.
Jack is smart.
18 plus 6.
Oof.
Wow.
Ooh,
Oh,
baby.
nice.
Yeah, you again feel this thing directing this malign force into your consciousness. But it does not pierce the kind of fog of breakfast booze and general resentment and the sharp mind hiding beneath. And realizing that things have seemed to be turning against it as it tries to attack two of you and just doesn't manage to get through either physically or psychically, it starts to scuttle away. So it's going to go there.
Do we have an attack of opportunity?
You absolutely will. So
Can
but it's
I-
going
can I
to scrabble
grappling?
towards the drain. Yes. Sorry, I'll put it back here. Make a grapple.
Because if I can do that, maybe I can. Because just thinking about like the size of a brain and the size of a grappling hook that's kind of to replace a hand.
Yeah.
Just like trying to.
That feels reasonable.
Visualize.
Oh, that's why you were doing that earlier.
Yeah.
Hugo, when
roll
you're editing
me-
this out, can you just focus on Sarah's screen when she's giving it this?
I think-
That'd be great.
I think we found the thumbnail for this particular episode.
Sarah, please roll me an athletics check to
Oh.
grapple this thing.
Okay, so athletics. So it's +3, which is good because that's my
Yep,
strength.
and it will
modifier.
try and resist with its acrobatics.
Okay. Here we go. Natural 20.
Hey!
That
wait,
one.
I'm not. Wait. Let me just to prove.
Get
That
in.
is
come
20
on.
right there. Love it. And that definitely beats a 10. So you kind of get your hook up around it and just scoop this brain up. And
So
it's
we
up
have
there in
arrested
front of
it.
you. And it tried to get away, but it's stuck right there for now.
Oh,
And that is now a Jack Pliarkin's turn.
that is the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, so I think you do. Jack doesn't get an attack of opportunity because grappling it stopped it from leaving, and wouldn't trigger that. So, but it's now your turn.
So shall I stick a knife in it, chapasses, or shall I try and interrogate it?
I have some very strong feelings about this thing, but it's in your jurisdiction right now.
I'd like to try and get some information from it.
Cool. And I think anyone else want to chip in here, either Craig or Sarah? Either of you
Well, I
probably have
have
time to
mind
say
link.
something.
I have mind link. So
I mean, I think you're all absolutely insane already. So yeah, sure, why not? We'll talk to the brain on legs.
I love this. Okay, so I'm going to say if you want to pursue this course of action, this would basically mean Jack and Alan delaying their turns until after Wendy's.
Yes, please.
So I just move you. I'm just going to move you down.
I'm threatening it with my.
yeah, stay close.
Actually, can I intimidate it?
Oh yeah.
Before I
So
do-
I know I will put your initiative back.
Can you hear my dogs?
Yes.
Yeah, make me an intimidation check. So roll that d20, add your charisma bonus and your and your proficiency bonus, which is +2 and +3. So yeah, you're adding 5 to this.
I got a 10.
All right, 15. Let's see what this thing rolls on its insight to resist. It rolled a natural 1.
Oh,
Yes.
it was just shocked at the.
Weirdly, like you know that this thing is smart because of what it's been doing, but there's been no indication that it can really understand you until you kind of point your knife at it. And what does this intimidation look like? Does Jack say something, or what happens?
We are about. I tell it, we are going to kill you unless you just stop trying to hurt us. And
Yeah,
then
and
you're going to answer this nice lady's question.
so you feel a presence on the edges of your mind. It's not aggressive like it was before. It's definitely, it's frightened and kind of skittish, and but also compliant. And it kind of like curls up into a little ball within Wendy's hook.
Oh, look at it.
Wait, did we just get a pet?
Got a pet brain.
I have animal
A pet
handling.
intellect devourer. Yeah, that's a dodgy pet.
Actually, given that Craig has mentioned the name of this thing, I'm going to actually ask you all to make... No, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to ask you all to make an Arcana check to work out what this is in character. It's fine that it's fine to mention it. I was going to ask you this at some point anyway, and now feels like a good time. So you have, because you have a break in the action.
16.
There's no way that Alan knows what one of these things is. Is Arcana's -1? I don't think it even.
17 so 16 plus 1. So
yeah. Yeah, I think if you beat a 14, you'll be able to know what this thing is. So yeah, Varia and Wendy. Varia, you've like heard stories about these things. They are usually, they're very much what they seem to be. They are like psychic brains on legs. They are capable of rendering people unconscious with the sheer blunt force of their mind. And sometimes what they'll do is, once they've done that to someone, they'll psionically kind of like teleport inside their skulls and take them over, and then it can know what they know.
Oh.
And you reckon actually that what that might look like if it did it to a person would be not dissimilar to what you saw of the professor in their office.
And what I felt directly. Like, I can see that happening very much.
Yep. So Wendy wants to use mind link on this thing. Let me just check the exact rules of how that works.
This is either going to be very good.
This is
very
wild.
bad.
I did not see it going this way. Oh, wow. Okay, so you don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand you, but it must be able to understand at least one language, which it does.
Okay.
And you can give it the ability to speak back to you.
Yes.
All right, great.
Right?
Now, Webster, think very carefully about what voice you're about to give this thing. It could be around for some time.
It's just not expecting this thing to need a voice. This is amazing. All right, what do you telepathically say to this intellect devourer that has been cowed into submission by Jack Poliarkin holding a knife over it?
Okay, so at the moment, I'm not planning to crush you like a walnut, but you need to give me answers. What were you doing in the office?
We don't want to be crushed like a walnut. Please, please don't. We were just doing what we were bid.
What was that?
The master wanted us to reach out and try and find out about how this place interacts with places like home.
So
The master wants to find out how it all works.
what did you steal from the office?
We didn't steal it. We devoured it.
So you didn't open the drawer in the office?
Oh no, we opened the drawer and we ate the tasty book.
You ate a book.
Yes, and now we know what it said.
Now we kill it. Eating books, unacceptable.
I'm
Librarian in me is raging right now.
Who's your master?
Yeah, the master is master.
Mm-hmm.
The master waits.
The master waits where?
Down below. We needs to report back.
So at this point, I'm going to assume that if the others can't hear this,
They
brain-
cannot, but you can be narrating it to them.
yes, I'm not going to do the voice, but I'm going to narrate.
Good. I don't recommend doing the voice. It's already killing my throat. I know that's your choice.
Right, we need to speak to him for a while longer now.
Can you sit down cross-legged next to it? Tell me a
Yeah,
love
the
story.
entire book.
Folks, what do we want to do here?
Do you think can Sarah tell whether it's lying or its intent
That's a
or
good
it's
question.
Sarah could make an insight check. I would say because you're connecting it with it on a telepathic level and it's been cowed by an intimidation check, you'd be making this at advantage. So roll
Okay.
because
twice
I'm
for your
wondering
highest.
if we could trust it to lead us to the master.
That's what I was thinking. I'm not sure we can. Well, I guess if I've got 50 foot, I could just keep it in my claw and it can scuttle off. But anyway, so I'll
Like on a lead,
Sorry.
like taking Pet Brain for a walk.
Like a bloodhound.
Which check? Sorry, James.
Insight.
Okay.
Can we call this
so-
episode Freak on a Leash?
Oh, I've got.
Is that a copyright thing?
Oh, so that's only a 16 in total.
1 second. You get the sense very much that this thing, while smart, doesn't have a lot of guile in it.
Okay.
Like, it feels very much like it wants to do its job. It's been prevented from doing its job, and it's scared of you and doesn't want to do anything that might
Okay.
jeopardize its ability to carry out its task and get back to its master.
Right. Okay. So maybe we can make the assumption then that since it was out here, it was on its way back to its master when Farrier spotted it. So should we follow it?
As you say, let's bargain with it for its life. It said it didn't want to die.
And that's true. Does anyone else have any messages for it that I can relay?
Not that are suitable for a public audience.
Yeah. No, not
I
really.
can't
no.
imagine Faria is very happy with what's going on.
No, she's sitting on the floor glaring at it, like staring daggers and like producing like little electric bolts from her claws. Like, if I was holding you right now.
Please don't
So-
electrocute it because part of my claw is metal, so that
Very
would not
metal.
end well for me.
All right, well, she changed it to flame then. All right, here we go.
Okay, so back to the brain on legs then. I'll say something like, if you were tasked to find things out, why did you attack people?
Well, we wanted to know what it knew.
So instead of just devouring more books or asking, you decided to kill someone. That tells us a lot about you and your kind.
I don't and that's a problem.
It's the unfortunate nature of these weird creatures that the way they find things out is to consume it, so they can't connect, I guess. Can't take this information without essentially absorbing it into themselves. So I'm the one sat here having my brain exploded saying it may not be its fault, but at the same time, it could have had that consideration first.
Yeah, okay.
I think that the thing continues speaking telepathically to you, and it's odd because, like, it's trying to convey concepts telepathically in across languages, right? Like, this thing doesn't speak common, but it's you're communicating in basically pure concepts.
Yeah.
So what you get from it is kind of a sense of surprise that it's an issue that this person died, and this.
So
and
I don't get the feeling that it's vindictive or malevolent on purpose. And I'll relay this back to the group.
Whoever sent it is the person who is responsible for what happened to Faria.
Is your master a creature like you?
My master is a creature, yes. Our master is a being.
Does your master look like you?
And it thinks for a second and then goes, on a certain level, like under the skin and bones.
Okay. Can I ask this creature in concept to give me a mental image of its master?
We're probably going to see what its central nervous system looks like.
Yeah, that's absolutely what happens. You just get a sense of a mind and a brain that is inquisitive, and kind of like fond and thought and of this intellect devourer. There's like there's a certain amount of care here directed at it, and a level of inquisitiveness directed outwardsly at the world.
Okay. Well, even if you didn't mean to kill someone, you killed someone, so we have to do something about that. So I think to the rest of the group, I'm going to say that I can ask it to lead us to its master if that's what we want to do, or I can just end the issue now.
I think we should let it lead us. I mean, it's like community service, isn't it? It's done a bad thing. It can do this bit.
I can't imagine that. What's her name? Grand Orderly Austin is not going to be impressed if I turn up with this thing and said, "Look, this is the thing that killed him." I don't think she's going to pay me.
It's acting on someone else's orders too. I think it's more pertinent to have it take us to who did this.
Yeah, what if it's got like 5 more of these things?
Yeah.
Well, me and Wendy will be all right. We've got street smarts.
I chuckle nervously under my breath.
Does it look like the previous dead person, was it Professor Zephyr? Looking back, although I know we didn't really look at the body much, was that a related or similar kind of thing? Are both of these deaths related, or is it just a coincidence?
I think you do not recall a pool of blood around Zephyr in the same way.
That's what I thought.
And I think that's given the brevity of your time in that lab, that's the most you're going to get out of that.
If Wendy's on MindLink, can she seek out the knowledge that the Intellect Devourer, like, I probably can't ask on Wendy's behalf, like, is there a sense of the knowledge floating around that it took?
So if that's something you want to ask Wendy, then that's a thing that Wendy could inquire about.
Okay. And yeah, I asked, do you know, can it tell you what it found out from the guy who it turned into soup in there?
So I'll ask the creature, what did you find out from the professor?
We found out many things.
Anything that your master will find most interesting?
Yes, we think the master will be interested to know about how this place works and who's in charge and the kind of things they tend to do and whether they will hide and keep people.
Whether they will hide and keep people?
Yes, whether they'll make them a nice hidden nest.
I relay this because I'm not quite getting the threads. Okay. So to the thing, we want you to lead us to your master. Can you do that?
Oh yes, I can follow the trail back into the down place, just through that. And it kind of indicates with one little leg at the grate.
Okay.
Yep.
Things are going to get stinky.
Wendy, can you ask it how it got here in the first place in its master? I mean, because it's obviously not from here, is it?
That's true. I relay
I'm
the
slightly
question back.
worried that the machine that Bustius turned on has left a big hole for these things to walk through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you get a series of kind of like flashes of memories as it tries to tell you what happened. You get a memory of this weird kind of chamber that's almost like it looks kind of like the inside of like a multifaceted gem. This that looks like it was bored out of some kind of kind of like glistening rock, and kind of like floating at various points in this chamber, various bits of kind of like mundane furniture, but also weird kind of esoteric equipment, kind of like magic runes floating in the air as well around kind of different like jars and cylinders and just weird things that are just like arcing kind of poles with energy floating between them. And amongst that, there's a figure that's almost kind of in shadow, because again, this thing doesn't really perceive people through eyes, like through using light. It does it psychically. So there's this kind of figure that just has this quite protective but also like defensive and inquisitive aura about it, and it seems to be asleep, and it suddenly wakes, and then it flashes a bit forwards, and there's this scene where this figure is kind of messing with some of the equipment this thing can sense with different magical auras coming off it, and there is a kind of flash of arcane energy that's quite similar to the flash of arcane energy where that Alan and Farah appeared through.
Okay.
And this person doesn't step through it, but kind of seems to be making some mental notes. And then there's this another flash of this person kind of looking out a window, and this thing is kind of mentally seeing what the figure is seeing,
Mhm.
which is again a big floating, looks quite a lot like the gate at the center of Ramshackle, except it's cylindrical and floats in a great kind of void above a skyline. And it's flashing open, and there's this sense of worry and dread from the figure. And then another flash of arcane energy is of that kind you saw before, but this time the figure does walk through it.
Okay.
And
So,
wasn't there
to the
something
group,
that
I
came
say.
through? Something came through the gate either last night or the night before, didn't it?
Yeah.
I
It was
didn't know what it was.
around yesterday the gate opened, and there was a suspicion that something's come through or something will come through, because it had opened unexpectedly, and it hasn't turned off at any
What I
point.
just saw wasn't the actual gate itself, was it? Do we think?
I think it was the gate on their side, maybe.
Maybe. Potentially. Okay. So I'm just going to say, I say we follow it. We go
think
back
that's the best
to
idea.
whoever created this mess and deal with them on their own terms.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're like this thing and they don't realise that what they're doing is not right.
Well, we certainly need to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think this thing prepares to lead you off down the grate, and that's the point where I think we will pause and end this episode at the very least. It's been a
I'm
good
just
amount of
picking
time.
up, just before we go, I'm picking up my arrow. I'm thrifty.
Great.
I'm
So
putting myself back at 20 now.
So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for this episode of IQ D&D, the Ramshackle Adventure. We'll be back next week as our party gets stinky and explore the sewers.
It's always a sewer. Why is it always a sewer?
Always in the sewers.
Okay, so to get back into it,
Right.
you've had your chat with this little brain on legs with this Intellect Devourer. It's happy to lead you down through the grate, which, if you take it up, a person can just about squeeze down into the sewers. How are you following it? Are you attaching it to the hook and like having it on a leash in front of you? Yep, brilliant.
Yeah, but I'm being very careful. I'm specifically trying not to grab too hard.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you kind of the hook is still kind of looped around it, and you just attach the rope, kind of winding round one of its legs and tying a knot on there, so you don't damage the brain.
Yeah.
I love how your really cool grappling hook hand has so quickly become a retractable leash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it's just you're off walking your little new pet brain through the sewer.
I feel like I need a little emoji of this.
100%.
Oh gosh, yes. So what I'm gonna ask for as you climb down into the sewer is the bane of any adventuring party. I'm gonna ask you for some climb checks, which goes off athletics.
Oh, no.
It's not going to be too hard to climb down into a sewer. You aiming for like I think a difficulty of 12 you want to hit to get through without any kerfuffles.
Oh, it's athletics, not acrobatics.
It is. You could use acrobatics if you wanted.
No. Wendy does not want to use her acrobatics.
Okay.
Negative skills.
I will use acrobatics and I get 12.
Super. So yeah, what order are you going down? I assume
I'll have
Wendy's
to go
going
first.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I don't mind following Wendy down though. So
I got 12 as well altogether.
Great, that's what you needed. So yeah, when this thing kind of leaps down into the sewer, there's and Wendy jumps down afterwards, and you just avoid when you hit the kind of ground of the sewer. You just avoid overbalancing and falling into the little rivulet of waste at the bottom of this sewer tunnel. What were the other rolls? Farry also got 12.
Yeah.
19 for me.
Yep.
I have
So-
no modifiers on this, do I?
Let's see what you've got for Jack for your acrobatics or athletics. So yeah, you have your basic dexterity modifier of +3 on your acrobatics. So just roll and add 3.
13 plus 3.
Marvelous. So yeah, Alan leaps heroically down, does that 3-point hero landing on the drier bit of the sewer tunnel, and scrambling down afterwards, kind of just like hanging from their hands from the grate, and then dropping down, follow Farrier and Jack, and you're now in a sewer tunnel. And I will just swap maps quickly.
I guess I
Ooh.
should get my lantern out. Anybody else got a lantern?
That's true.
I can produce flame, so I can. I was going to ask whether there are any flammable gases down here before doing that first, though.
That's a good point.
Good question.
In typical Alan style, he is unprepared
I've got a block of incense.
and has nothing with which he can light the way. To be fair, he's probably just
I've
going to
got a
stick next to
candle.
Farrier anyway. So
Yeah.
I'd rather not,
if she's
because
got
I've got one hand with the brain thing and the other hand with my sword. I'd rather not have a sword because I can't drop the brain thing.
yeah.
So
Well, I'm happy to use my hooded lantern.
that would be good.
That could be good.
Do you want to come second then?
I have dark vision too, so I can see
Oh,
a fair
cool.
Oh,
distance.
good. At least someone does.
So, yeah.
Oh, I have as well.
Hey.
Oh, there you go. Well, if Wendy and Jack go up front then, because at least they've got light and dark vision, and then if Farrier and Alan stick together at the back, then Farrier can see, and she has light as well, doesn't she?
Yeah. I can check
I was
for
thinking in
stuff.
case we get separated, if both
Yeah.
humans
Yeah.
end up in a very dark room, all of a sudden we are screwed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very annoyed that I prepared my spell list and didn't include cure wounds. Like,
Whoops.
Yeah, it's fine.
I have lay on hands, I think.
I think that stabilizes me. I don't know that it heals me.
I've got 1 point of healing hands.
You have a pool of healing power. You can restore a total number of hit points equal to your paladin level times 5, so
Oh.
5.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think lay on hands, even if you pop 1 point into someone, it instantly, pop, that's it, you're stable and you're up to 1.
Okay.
It does indeed.
And 5 points cures a disease or something like that.
Yep.
I've never played a paladin, I can't remember.
Are you healed up, Alan? Craig?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I second winded myself, so I'm good.
Okay, cool. I'm still only at 4.
So we're keeping this brain and calling it IQ, right?
Or...
Just as I went to get a drink, I was like,
For short. Ick.
ick. Yes, because it
Oh.
is disgusting. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called ick, spelled IQ. Right, that's going in there.
All right.
It's probably limping at the moment.
Yeah, doesn't it have 3 legs? No. Did it have 4 before? How many legs do they have?
Well,
I think it lost a leg anyway.
There's 4 on the picture.
Oh, right, okay. There you go.
How's that? Has
Yeah.
anything appeared?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. I
Yes.
just, it had to be on the GM overlay
Oh,
layer,
yeah, there
and
we
that's
go.
how that works. Now I know.
Cool.
Phenomenal. So yeah, you're the Intellect Devourer, which I think has probably given its self-identifier as amygdala, but that you can rename as you wish.
Ick.
Ick.
Is yes, and you will just from now on call Ick. Is scurrying ahead and leading you down a tunnel.
Okay. I'm going to follow a few steps behind, but giving it enough rope so that the rope's not sort of on the floor, but not super tight either.
Super. So it continues scurrying along, and it goes down, taking the tunnel, which turns to the right.
Okay.
And it moves out of your sight, but you're still connected by the rope.
Okay.
So move
Someone
yourselves
want to,
as you
like,
wish to move.
Sneak it. Does somebody want to sneak ahead and make sure that we're not going to get jumped or anything like that?
Well, I'd probably feel something on the rope if that was going to be the case.
Hopefully.
It might not jump ick because it might be expecting ick.
I'm going to go long way round the corner.
I'm going to peek round this side here.
So I'll head up with Farrier, but I'm just keeping an eye out behind us just in case anything.
Yeah.
It came
So,
from behind.
yeah.
Icky.
Okay.
Icky. Come on, Icky.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just adding a thing.
No worries.
Good thing.
No add things. No.
Oh, we
So
got
you don't need to
got a
worry
disembodied
about
hand
it.
now too.
It's okay. There we go.
We're just watching Hugo there, and all of a sudden, they went really narrow-eyed. Like, what have you figured out, Hugo?
No, I'm just suspicious of noises going, here we go. And like, it's dangerous when the GM says that.
Yeah. It was the don't worry, there's nothing to worry about. I think
Why would there be anything to worry about?
Ooga.
Oh, gosh, this
Can
is
you light a bit of incense, Wendy? It's getting a bit pungent down here.
I don't think it's going to make any difference whatsoever.
Just shove one in each
Also,
nostril and
I'm
light it,
holding a
and it'll make a
sword.
big difference.
I kind of need at least one good hand and somewhere to ledge my elbow to light an incense stick.
I'm still nervous about flammable gases, methane and the like in the sewer. It might smell bad, but I'm made of very flammable fur, so I don't want to run the risk of just.
Yeah. So as you're following going down the sewer, yeah, just make me a perception check to see. First of all, this is just for flammable gases, but we'll keep the score for the next little bit.
It's natural 20 for me.
Oh, natural 1.
Oh, so 24 total.
All the extremes of the spectrum here.
11.
I'm
I'll go right in the
focusing
middle.
on the little ick, I think.
I genuinely don't think this dice has ever rolled a natural 20 before.
Ooh.
And I've had these dice about 6 years.
I got a 12, by the way.
Amazing. So yeah, on a natural 20, Alan, you've smelled flammable gases before. You are extremely experienced with anything that might explode. And you are very aware that while it's not fragrant in a good way down here, it doesn't smell dangerous in that way to you.
Oh, cool.
Like, you are not super
fine, it's
worried
just like
about
normal
lighting a
farts.
match.
Yeah, it's fine.
And yeah, although what you do, there are two things you hear as well. One is the heavy kind of thud of Wendy's boots, as Wendy is like spending more time working out where to step and keeping track of ick than kind of paying attention to anything further out in the world around her. But underneath that thud, you do hear a sound of scurrying from around the corner in the passage ahead of you.
Ooh, is that...
So I'm going to reveal a little bit more of the
Ick.
map because Wendy can see a bit more. Can probably see about that far down. And from Wendy, from what you can see, there's more tunnel which branches off in two directions. Ick is heading vaguely towards the kind of turning towards the left here. And Alan, you haven't gone around the corner yet, but a way off, you can just hear that scurrying.
I'm just going to whisper to Farry and say, you can hear that, right?
I presume I can. I don't know. Scurrying. How do my senses...
Now that it's pointed out to you, yeah, you can hear that kind of little scurrying of...
Is it multiple scurrying?
Yeah, it seems of... You can hear, you're not sure quite how many, but many little feet on stone and the occasional little squelch.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I'm just going to kind of like stare out into the darkness beyond the light and just be like, oh, don't.
Yeah. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
I think there might be more of these things.
What?
Wendy, let Jack go first.
Yeah, I'll flipping go first.
Yeah, that's fine. Just let Jack go first.
Go on then.
Yeah. So
I'm getting my sword out though.
Like a carrot at the end of a stick.
Yeah.
So it continues down and turns down down that opening. Yep.
Just in terms of, got to be careful not to sort of cross the rope or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, you found them there. And do Farry and Alan move along behind as well, or are you staying down that end of
I'll just scurry.
Yeah.
Scurry along behind. There we go, hanging back.
Yeah, and as you move down there, Alan, you can now hear that scurrying sound coming from the tunnel behind you as well.
Oh, crap. Well, that took exactly 30 seconds before we're surrounded by whatever these bloody things are.
And I'm gonna roll a dice. Just because
Don't roll.
like your natural 20 stands, but there is a chance that whatever this sound is might also roll a natural 20 on its stealth check.
Yeah, true, yeah.
It does not. So at the kind of in the shadows at the edge of the light, you see flickering shapes, and at first you think, oh good gods, it's more of these little brains, more intellect devourers. But then as the shadows start to kind of be thrown into up on the wall, you look, okay, no, that's not quite round enough, that's not brain shaped, that's just like a regular rodent or something, and the shadows making it look huge, but it's not huge. And then you see it something kind of flit out from one shadow into another, and as it moves between those two places, you see, oh no, that is large.
Oh,
and
big rats.
Indeed, appearing in the tunnels around you are several very large, for rats at least, rodents.
No.
Brilliant.
You would have never got past the rats.
You notice two up ahead of you, or rather down the tunnel to the south of you, and one emerging to the north of you. And that's the point where I would ask you to roll initiative, but given the time and given we're about to have a combat, if you've already rolled, you can just write that down and we'll remember it for next time. But I think that's probably a good place for us to call it for today, and we can resume with you fighting rats when next we meet.
Yeah, boy.
So great. So for anyone who is... For anyone still watching, some appearances may have changed suddenly between shots. That's just because we picked up recording on another day, and now we will crack on with this combat. So, going first on initiative of 22 is Ick, your friendly pet brain. So Ick's on a leash. How long is the leash? Remind me, Sarah. How much of it have you spooled out?
Was it 15 meters, we said?
So the rope would have been 50 feet in total, but you can decide how much of that it has basically to play with. So
Yeah,
you
I
could
think
drain it
that
back
actually.
into like 20 or whatever you think.
Yeah,
think's
like
appropriate.
15 or 20 max, I would have thought, because we don't want it to go too far ahead. So
Great. So the first thing that happens is that Ick moves 5 feet in this direction and then gets to the end of its leash as it scurries away on its little legs away from the rats that are approaching down the tunnel.
okay.
Up next
It is
is
smart.
this is one of the rats
Oh,
who
no.
is going to just move up to Jack, who's the nearest person to it, and it's gonna try and bite you.
Oh no! Oh no!
Rolling a 10 to hit, which I don't believe will hit. So it tries to bite at you, but just gets just clings onto the leather of your boot, can't get through it, and you kind of shake it off.
Cool, yeah.
It then, because I've modded these rats to give this combat some extra, make it a bit more dynamic. It's now going to attempt to hide from you.
Oh no!
And fails. So it tries to disappear kind of into a grate in the sewer beneath, and does not move quickly enough. You kind of like stop it with your boot. Just get your boot down on the grate to prevent it from getting away. Next up in initiative is Alan Shaw.
Trixie. So can I see the rat that is north of me on the map?
Yes, you can. That you, as a group, your perception was good enough last time to know these rats were coming, and you saw it rounding the corner.
Slick. Right. I will step over a space to make sure that I'm between the rat and Faria, and then I'm going to try to shoot something for the first time. So let's see how badly I miss.
Amazing. Now, if I remember rightly, at level 1, you don't have proficiency with firearms yet.
I do not.
So you're just adding your dex modifier.
That's right. That's a 10.
Okay, let me just check. I'm afraid that will not hit. So there is a thunderous sound
I was
as
just about to say
a
that sound.
firearm goes off in an enclosed area that echoes down the corridor. Those of you who feel you might not be used to firearms, even if you are used to them, you're probably not used to them going up in such a closed space. So this kind of briefly deafens you, not in a mechanical way, but certainly you might be a little bit shaken. And then the bullet pings off the wall, sending a shatter of dust and bits of rock, but otherwise does nothing.
Oops.
Anything else on Alan's turn?
No,
work,
that was me. Thanks, I'm trying my best.
Super. Faria is up next.
Okay.
We probably can't talk to each other at the moment. Can't
You
hear
can
anything.
do a little bit of talking kind of between rounds, but limit it to a few seconds.
So the rat
Enough for some hardcore quips.
Mm-hmm.
the rat that Alan just tried to shoot, I'm going to cast Mind Sliver.
Lovely. So that's a intelligence saving throw, I think.
Yes, it has to. My spell casting DC is 13.
All right, lovely. Believe it or not, these rats aren't smart. It will definitely fail. It got a -1 adjusted roll.
Wow.
So you reach out into this rat's puny little mind, drive a little spike of your own intellect into it. How much damage does it take?
It takes 2, and it also loses 1d4 from the next saving throw it has to make until the end of before the end of my next turn.
All right, super. So yeah, this rat looks a little jolted and jarred by this. Kind of gives that a little squeak of pain.
Okay.
And moving down the order, it is Wendy.
Well, I
Which
have
rat
a
did?
sorry. I have a
which
bonus
rat?
action too,
Oh, sorry, bonus
that's-
action away. My mistake.
because these are both cantrips. These spells.
Mhm.
So I'm going to use Produce Flame, and I'm going to throw it at that same rat because I've had enough.
Excellent use of cantrips.
Small
Slick.
things on numerous legs.
Never mind. That was a natural one. So I obviously just can't get past Alan and just kind of like fling it into the sewer in front of me.
How
Is
flammable are
produce
you,
flame a
Alan?
cantrip? Sorry.
So, yeah, produce flame as a cantrip, and
Is it a
mine.
bonus action? Because my understanding is both of these cantrips would be a whole action.
Oh, really? Okay. I was no, that's fine. Yeah, we can ignore that then.
You are not on fire, Alan. Congratulations.
You'd have to jump into the sewer water.
Oh no.
Again.
That's, yeah, I could say again. That'd be absolutely typical.
Yeah, looking it up, I'm afraid produce flame is an action.
Okay, no, that's fine.
But you're all natural one anyway. So
Yeah.
I'll say that you still, on this occasion, you do it. You throw out a bolt of flame, but because you're kind of rushing it, you're not aiming well, and it hits the exact same bit of wall that Alan hit with the pistol shot. So in that way,
Yes,
it was
that
impressive.
bit is very dangerous. Hit
Yeah.
it again.
You think maybe that was one of like the tunnels that the rats came from? So
Sure.
why not? Okay.
I'll just whisper to Farrier over my shoulder, just go, tell no one.
And now it is Wendy.
So, looking at where the rats are, where I am, and the fact that I've got Ick on a lead, I'm not sure I can do much there, actually.
So you could try and pull Ick along behind you. Ick isn't very strong.
Yeah, I'll definitely sort of tug the lead to let Ick know that, you know, we're not following at the moment because rats.
Yeah, so you give a little tug. It definitely still seems to be trying to run down that corridor, but it is much smaller than you, so it isn't going to get very far. Now, if you wanted to, you could either unspool a bit of more of the rope to give yourself some room to move, or you can make an athletics check to try and pull Ick along with you.
Well, I'm not going to do an athletics check because that goes for dexterity, doesn't it? And as
No,
we have
it's strength.
decided, strength. Oh, if it's strength, no, I think it'll just be more sensible for me to unspool a little bit more of the, not much though, maybe an additional 5 feet, so it's at 20 feet now.
Yep.
So could I take a step in this direction?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I guess I can't really do much apart from that, can I? But at least I'm there if this rat starts to try and go around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. You could take unspool another 5 feet and take a step down and then be within range of that rat, but you don't have to. You can just stay there if you want.
Yeah, I think I'll stay here because my concern is with the rope, I don't want to accidentally tangle anyone. So I'm
Very
just going to stay
sensible.
there and wait for opportunity.
Alas, you're one step ahead of me. If you want, you can ready an action to attack a rat that might move close to you.
Yes.
So the way readied actions work is you can say what you want to do and a specific trigger for it, and then when that happens, you'll use your reaction to do it.
Okay, yeah, I'll
that
do that
trigger is
then.
met.
So when a rat comes within striking distance of my sword, I will try to smush it.
Very good. Okay, moving on to Jack.
I thought smushing was kissing.
No,
Smushy, smush, smush.
that's smooshing, not smushing.
Right, okay.
The inflection is very
I'm-
important.
Nobody else seems to be bothered about actually killing these rats, so I'm going to get on with it.
Shade.
Very good. How will
Have to
Jack
do
attempt to kill a
everything
rat?
myself. I thought about just screaming at it and trying to intimidate it for a bit, but you know,
It's probably not
let's
smart.
let's kill the little sod. Right. I think I'm going not hand to hand, but sword to hand. Anyway.
Very good. So roll your d20 and add your dex and your proficiency modifier.
I'm looking.
So that will
Where
be
is my
plus
proficiency
5.
modifier? Hey.
It's your proficiency modifier will be +2 right now. So roll d20 and add 5.
11 plus 5, 16.
Absolutely. So you stab downwards with your rapier and skewer one of these rats. Please roll a d8 and add 3 to the result.
8. That's that one, isn't it? Oh! You see that? You see that?
Much. Oh, hello.
That is brilliant. So you do a cracking 11 points of damage to this rat right here, and it's dead. The rat kind of
Oh, that's
squeals
really cool.
and stops moving, and you've got a rat on a skewer.
Yeah. Well, it nibbled my boot, and that's it's not.
And that was very rude.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Now,
right.
Rescue, you going to do anything now? Maybe.
Is that a Demolition Man reference? Rat on a skewer.
Yeah.
An accidental one.
I was
Okay.
thinking of Cut My Own Throat Dibbler from Discworld, actually, because he sells
Oh goodness.
rats on a stick.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving to the next turn on the initiative, it is another rat's go. So this rat, having heard a loud noise, is gonna make its hide check straight off because it's scared of that gunshot. Oh my
Good.
gosh! And it rolled a 1. So the rat tries
turns and
to
hits into
hide
the
in
wall.
the sewer. Bounces off the wall and then decides, sod it, and runs towards Alan. I'm gonna switch my dice now. Still,
Oh, no.
still bad. These rats are not competent. I imagine a 10 will not hit Alan.
No, that misses.
So again, it kind of jumps up and tries to kind of bite at your arm, misses. You move your arm out of the way, and it swooshes past you and lands on the ground again. And that's that rat's go. It's another rat. So this rat down here, it's gonna try and go past
No, it's not.
Jack.
Thunk.
But yep, there we go. Run straight into Wendy. So roll
Get it.
your attack.
Get
So
it.
D20 for attack, right? And then
Yeah.
17.
I imagine plus your strength modifier, and
So that's 3, I
Proficiency.
think.
yep. So that will definitely hit. Please roll your damage. So 1d8 plus your strength.
So, do you know what? I didn't put a D8 in. Oh, special Sarah. Where are we? I don't think I've even got a D8.
How can
Is that really bad? I've got D12s. Oh, wait, no, I do have a D8. Here we go. I thought it would be a bit weird if I didn't. Okay. So that's 7 plus. Let me get my character sheet open. What's the modifier?
The modifier will be plus your strength
So.
modifier. So, yep, that rat as well. You slashed it with your cutlass. 2 perfect halves of the rat fall apart.
This way or this way? I guess if the rat's coming towards me.
Kind of
it'll be-
horizontal. Oh yeah, I guess down the middle. Yeah.
Is this one of those which way would a snake wear pants kind of diagram?
Just slightly more grim and messy. Which way would a rat fall apart? Okay. Top of the round. I'd like. Actually, we'll do it on people's initiatives. So first of all, Ick is going to keep trying to run away. So I will ask Sarah for you to make an athletics check to keep hold of it. This
Okay.
isn't difficult. You're rolling an opposed athletics check against this thing with a strength modifier of -3.
Okay.
Come on, you've got this.
9.
Um,
So 12.
What were you saying?
Ick rolled a natural 20.
Wow.
Or maybe as I was doing that, it kind of pulled. So
Yeah,
I...
it kind of pulled a little bit loose. So Ick, I'm going to say with the natural 20, Ick gets the rope just starts to unspool and gets to the full 50 feet as Ick just disappears into the darkness.
Oh, I'm so proud of it and yet so disappointed at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
As Ick takes a dash action.
Oh no.
All
We
right.
have a Hansel and Gretel situation or a labyrinth situation now.
Okay, that rat is dead. Alan, Alan, at the start of your turn, please roll a perception check.
I will. Perception. Here we go.
I'm wondering if Ick knows something we don't. If it's just
Oh.
moving away.
multiple things. That's an 18.
Yeah, that all. Well, I'll just roll to be sure. Yes, you notice just before it emerges a kind of like squeaking sound from the messy bit of the sewer beneath you, and another rat emerges just right next to you.
Out of that hole you made in the wall.
Yeah. Shh.
1 second.
Oh no.
So
There really is kind of half and half in terms of success in this particular battle, isn't there? The South Party are doing pretty well.
and that rat is going to go now.
Oh no. Oh no.
When Hugo looks at the other screen, it's all this kind of whimsical little expression appears.
Because I'm like, am I gonna die? What's gonna happen? Because I have 2 monitors, so roll 20 is on this one over here.
So, fun fact: these rats have an ability called pack tactics, which means if they have an ally within 5 feet of them, they attack with advantage. So this one's rolling 2 dice to try and hit Alan and picking the highest number. And it's a good thing it did. So with a 23, I believe that will hit.
Only just.
But it rolled a 1 for damage. So and it adds 2 to that. So you take 3 piercing damage as this rat just emerges from the sewer beneath you and bites your leg.
Oh, no.
I feel as though I should have gone back.
Down your thigh.
I feel as though I should have gone back, James, to read The Adventures of Shivkin. Like,
very appropriate for this one, yeah.
There may have been some clues in that story that we are missing.
So you're not doing as badly as the adventurers in that story.
Oh, good.
Okay, and now it is Alan's go. Alan, you have been attacked by another rat.
Right, which one bit me?
The one just to your left.
To my left. Okay. I am going to try and stomp on this thing.
Very good. Roll your arms back.
So it's that one. Oh, good. I thought it was a natural 1. It was a 7. That's good. So that's a 12.
A 12 will just hit.
Ooh, okay.
Roll your damage.
D8 plus 3. Come on, let's do this
Are
thing.
you going to trap
7
its
points.
tail to make its tail come off?
7 points is exactly enough.
I'm going for the kill.
Exactly enough.
You stomp on it, you grind your heel in, and the rat squeaks and stops moving.
With the exact amount of pressure necessary for rat smushing.
Absolutely.
Smooshing or smushing? Wait, have I smushed it or smooshed it?
You don't want to smoosh that.
And Faria, it is your go.
Everyone else has done one.
Well, I don't think my producer flame is going to be any good, so I'm going to go for Mind Sliver again on this rat.
Very good choice. But it rolls a 19 for its save.
Oh, you little bastard.
Which even at its -3 will save.
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
So you kind of reach out and attack it with your consciousness, but this rat is shockingly mentally resistant. This rat's kind of, you get the sense this rat is surveying its fallen brethren, has one thing on its mind, and that thing is vengeance.
Scary rat.
Absolutely. Assuming you have no bonus actions and don't want to move.
No,
Get out of the way.
No, I can't do anything. I can't move anyway.
Super. Then we're moving on to Wendy.
Okay. I am going to I think I'm going to take a few steps down to where, how many spaces can I move?
So you can move as far as you can move 6 spaces with your movement. Bear in mind the rope is now at its full length and taut again, so you will have to pull it back if you want to move. So it would be another contested athletics check.
I think actually I'm going to move 2 spaces, so like that.
Yep, that is absolutely fine.
Cool. And am I able to hold again as well in case anything pops up
if
around
something
me?
pops up near you, you can hold an action to attack it. That's absolutely fine. All right, so Wendy has moved a bit down the passage, has Cutlass out, waiting and ready to strike. And it is Jack's go.
Right, first I'm going to use my boot to push the dead rat off my...
Absolutely. You just kick it off without a care for this poor creature.
Now, can I get at this other rat?
You absolutely can. If you
1,
just
2, 3. Can I jump? Do I have to step over this one?
You can step over that one. That's fine. It is not moving or resisting, and even as a giant rat, it's still not very big.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna have another go.
Absolutely. So yeah,
push Alan aside and say, for goodness sake.
I swear to God, if you kill this thing, I'm going to kill you.
I don't care.
Yeah, roll your attack.
17 plus
17 plus 5 will hit.
Yeah.
So now you get to use for the first time your sneak attack because you are attacking something while an ally of yours is within 5 feet of it. Which means it's slightly distracted because it's fighting Alan, which means you get to roll an extra d6 damage. So roll a d8 and a d6 and add 3 to the combined result.
That's a 5 and a 9. How can there be 9? That's the wrong dice, is it?
That sounds like it was a d10, yeah.
Probably a d10, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody does that at some point.
Okay, so it's 5 and a 2. So that's 7 plus 3 is 10.
Absolutely, and that is definitely enough to kill this rat.
God, I hate you.
So
don't say anything. Just don't bloody say anything.
You skewer a second rat. It wasn't really looking at you, so you've got to pick your moment and just perfectly skewer it through the neck. And roll a perception check for me now.
Rat Slayers. Campaign over. Woo!
Sorry, what was that?
I rolled a 15.
Brilliant. So what you hear is a little scurrying in a grate nearby that starts to come towards you, then quickly runs away again. And you get the impression that seeing what's happened to the rats that are out here, the others have fled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to take a moment to wipe my sword on Alan's kind of coat.
Ooh, not the duster. Oh, you did.
It is heavily stained already. It makes no difference.
Brilliant. So you are now out of combat, so you're no longer bound by the initiative order. And I'll reveal to you one of the mechanics for this fight, which was that as long as at least one rat remained at the start of the round, another rat was going to join the fight. So you had to get through all of them before the rest would consider running away, which you did quite quickly. So well done.
We're alive.
In my notes, I dubbed this the whack-a-mole fight. Things emerged up from the sewers and fled back down them.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, you are in this passage. Bodies of dead giant rats lie around you. If anyone wants to make a history check, by the way, you can do so just to see if something comes to mind, given your knowledge of the city.
Natural 1. I'm too distracted by ick.
Yeah, you just
since there's no carpentry.
I got 18.
Ooh,
lovely. With an 18, it just occurs to you for a minute, like, why on earth are these giant rats living in the sewers? And you remember like a civic ordinance that passed a little while ago, which was that because there were you live in a strange and magical world where rats can grow to unusual size and other nasty things might live in kind of dank, out-of-the-way places like the sewers. So one of the city guilds has been cultivating the giant rats down here to keep out other predators. And it's just an accepted risk that if you go into the sewers, you might encounter some of these rats that live in specially created tunnels or nests. Because that expected risk of giant rats is better than the alternative.
This sounds like a Doncaster Council decision.
Yeah. So there's this history check just reveals to you a little bit about the kind of ecosystem that has been cultivated within the sewers here, and because I like to explain why on earth these rats would exist.
Because we're level 1, and that's what they exist for.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quickly check them for dog tags. Make sure we haven't
Nice to know we're
irritated somebody.
nice
They
to know
do not
bit.
seem to have collars or anything.
Oh no, squeakles.
Nice to know
Okay,
bit
so
by
yeah.
bit we're unsettling the ecosystem of our town by eliminating the predators in the food chain.
Who knows? So yep,
No,
you're
don't
now
give us
in the
the
sewer.
no.
Down, Ick has run off down one tunnel into the darkness, but it's still kind of pulling on the rope, so you know it's still there. What would you all like to do?
So I'm just going to indicate to the rest of the group that Ick has gone off and that, I'm going to be following.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me.
Yep.
Well, are we hoping that Ika's sticking to the bargain and is still leading us in the direction?
That's the idea.
Either way, I think it probably knows where it's going, and
Well,
it's
more
going
than
to
us,
lead us
that's
back
for
both
sure.
ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very good. So I will reveal a bit more of the map to you. Hopefully this will work. Can
Yep.
you now see a bit more of them?
Ah, yeah.
Brilliant. So as you've rounded the corner, you can see a bit more of that tunnel, and it kind of fades into shadows to a little way off.
Cool.
Just moving down here so I can see. There we go.
So I've still got my sword. Did you just go and then move back a step?
Yeah, I came up right next to you, and then I thought,
Let Wendy lead the way.
Yeah.
Why not?
She's tough, she can take it.
Phenomenal. Is everyone else following along, or what else are you doing?
Yes. Yeah, I'll stay at the back just so that Fari is not left at the back still. So I'll just follow on.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So I think
No worries.
For the corner, yeah, I'm just gonna go.
Are we going to
I was gonna, yeah.
do the old cop creep and pee?
Great. So you can see another slightly
Which,
larger tunnel leading off to your north. And that kind
Which
of
way
leads
has
downwards.
Ick gone? Is Ick to the
It
north
comes
or
to the
is
east.
okay? I think
So the rope. I'll just draw it on there. The rope kind of goes down that way.
okay. Are we happy to keep following?
Yeah.
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 Okay, so
after you.
Let's keep sneaking.
Excellent. If you want to sneak, you can roll me a stealth check. But also, if you want to sneak, roll me just a raw intelligence check.
I'm not bothering.
Bearing in mind, I've just
Sneaky.
fired a gun. I think
Hey,
they
you can
probably
forget
know
about
we're
that
here.
intelligence check.
Yeah. I guess they know we're here.
So you can still roll stealth because they might not know exactly when you're coming or if you're coming in this direction.
Let's try it.
So everyone, give me a stealth check and a perception check.
Alan knows he's loud. He's not that daft. 17 for stealth. Dirty 20 for perception.
So 17 for stealth, which is amazing.
That's really good for you, actually. Yeah.
I know, right? And 19 for perception.
Very good.
Sorry, I got stealth 19 and perception 22.
These rolls are great.
Why are we getting good now? Where were these rolls earlier?
Yeah, right.
It's because we're just like, we just won the battle.
Yeah, you're full of confidence. And
those
David, what about for Jack?
So do I add 5 to my stealth?
You might even add more.
You
because
should do,
you're a rogue.
yeah. Unless I don't think you put your expertise into stealth. So
I've got
it should
a tick next to it here.
Let's see. Yeah, so you add 5 to your stealth.
Yeah, so that's 14 with the 5 added.
Yep, and your perception, which adds 3.
12 plus 3, 15.
Okay, brilliant.
Ooh.
So you're all actually fairly quiet as you sneak along through. You avoid stepping on various bits of rubbish on the floor. Your
You say
footsteps are
bits of
barely
rat.
echoing, and you all, because you all got high enough to, you all hear down the corridor faint footsteps, the little scurrying sound of Ick, but also some heavier treads as well, and a soft kind of murmured conversation.
Okay.
It feels like a one-sided conversation.
Okay.
Or
I'm going
ASMR
to
video.
make a... What was that, Hugo?
ASMR.
Yeah.
Oh, dear me.
So, what would you like to do?
I'm going to make I can't make a hand gesture. I'm going to raise my sword and then sort of, without saying anything, but just indicating to make sure that everyone else has heard the murmurings as well.
Prod at your ear with the sword.
Yeah.
Bill Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just make sure that nothing... I'll just keep an eye out behind us as well, just to make sure nothing's sneaking up behind us.
Yeah, you don't see anything coming up the passage behind you, and you don't hear anything in that direction either.
Cool.
It seems
Could
quiet now that the rats
move
have
at
fled.
half
Now got a rat here.
speed? Are we quieter? Is that a silly question?
It's not a silly question. In order to make a stealth check, you already have to be moving a bit slowly.
Okay, cool. I'm just
You
scared.
can
that
only
my
Scooby sneak
previous
so fast.
stealth check was a fluke.
Yeah, I think there are some specific skills that allow you to move at full speed whilst
Oh, okay.
you are stealthing.
I've got some kind of dark vision thing.
Yep.
Well, someone does.
That's a good point. Do you who here has dark vision? Several of you should.
I do.
I do not.
Nope.
Okay. So those of you who can't see in the dark, you've got a hooded lantern up, is that right? Or
Yeah, I think someone had a lantern. I
yeah,
can't
Jack
remember
had
who
a
it
hooded
was.
lantern that I think you
That's
were
right.
using to see.
Mhm.
So I will reveal a little bit more of the map here because you can see just ahead of you. So you can. Oh, that's not right. Stop selecting things I want to reveal. So you can see that ahead of you, the tunnel kind of widens out into a larger chamber. Gets a bit darker further on, but you can just about see the rope going round a corner, and just about see the little legs of Ick sticking out from one side.
Okay.
Oh,
And
no.
Ick is no longer trying to run away, so
Okay,
you've got
so
a bit more
as
slack on the
I'm-
rope now.
Yeah. So as I'm moving, can I even? I can't do that, can I? I can't spool the rope.
Yeah, you can spool the rope
Back
back up. That's fine.
Can I do that one-handed though? Because my other hand's got the cutlass.
I'm gonna say that you can kind of holding the cutlass kind of in your little fingers there, still spool up
Okay.
the rope. That feels like a reasonable thing to be able to do with the contraption of this hook.
Okay. Cool. Good.
Like as you get to higher levels, we'll probably do some improvements to this, and you'll be able to automatically reel it in.
Yeah,
But
like
I'm
that,
looking
those
forward to
that so
vacuum
far.
cleaners that just.
Dear me.
Okay, so currently
Cool.
you're kind of sneaking down towards
Right.
the end of that passage.
I'll just whisper to everyone, so who wants to go first?
Well, yeah. I'll take 2 steps, but just back from the edge of the passage. Do we want to extinguish? No, we don't want to extinguish the light, do we?
Well, we could if the dark visioners stick their heads around the corner.
Okay, I can pop around here.
Okay.
Jack, go and have a look.
So I've turned the light off.
Okay. So now it's completely dark and I cannot see a damn
I
thing.
can't see a
Okay,
damn
okay.
thing either.
All right, so we both stepped forward to the edge of the passage.
We're
Yep.
trusting you, folks.
I've not had good luck with going into things first, so we'll see. Ick the Quick is right down there.
Quick.
Amazing. Okay, so where were you all up to? Has someone decided to go into the room?
Yes,
Yes, while you were away, we defeated everything.
Ah, dang. That was going to be
Leveled
really
twice.
cool. Okay, so.
Yeah, these guys were sneaking ahead, weren't you?
I'm sneaking as far
those
as
of you
the
who are
corner.
I've got you covered, don't worry.
Thank you.
So I'm just gonna
Saying that I did miss my first
reveal a
shot.
bit more of the room.
Okay.
Ooh.
So as you step in, what you see in front of you is Ick, who's Skeleton Thrum, talking to a figure you can see here.
What is that?
A humanoid figure with kind of bluish green skin.
Ooh.
And that figure looks over at you. And the thing is, there's not really anywhere to hide in this room. So even with a good stealth check, once you go into the room, this person has seen you. And that
Bye,
means
Jack.
that a prepared reaction goes off.
Oh no.
And I'm going to roll some d8s.
No.
I need more than that.
No.
No, I didn't.
I don't like the sound of that.
Ooh, ouch.
Webster's doing this on purpose now. They're doing it to just
We're
increase
out
the
of
tension.
qualifiers.
We're already dying from anxiety, Webster.
Okay, so just let me know, collectively, how many hit points does the party have total?
Oh no. I have
So I
8
have-
remaining.
I have 4.
Great.
Sorry, do you mean total or do you mean what we've got left after we got
Added,
hit by
what
rats?
you've got left, all added together. So that's
Yeah, I've got
12 for Faria and Alan, 12 more, so 24 for Wendy. And how many does Jack have?
10.
Okay, so collectively, that is less than the 45 that I rolled. So, Jack, as you see this person who's kind of crouching down to talk to Ick, and this person looks up at you, meets your eyes, and then arcane runes sprout from their hands, and you feel your eyes getting heavy. And you try to fight it and stay awake, but you feel yourself dropping down and falling asleep. And as Jack does, so do the rest of you. Your eyes darken. You just feel suddenly this cold, dank sewer just feels really comfy, and you just kind of feel like lying down and having a nice nap.
Oh no.
That person rolled really well on a prepared sleep spell. You are all now asleep.
Oh, we needed a nap anyway.
Absolutely. This is going to
Just
just be
Faria
a
get
nice,
his points
restful
back?
time for all of you.
We need some card up in front of the screen saying.
And in terms of timings for episodes, that's probably a nice point to end this one on. So thank you all for joining us in the Ramshackle Adventures, an IQ D&D video. Please join us next time to see what our brave adventurers are dreaming about. Take care, like, subscribe, do all those things. Buy our books. Bye. Cool. Yes, stuff, things, game.
Game things.
I'm still looking at this fantastic picture.
I love it, and there's only going to be more terrible MS Paint maps in this
Yes.
campaign.
Wonderful.
So that's good.
Could you do it like an old dial-up noise and just cram all the information into like a 30-second?
Just speed it up really quickly.
Did you...
Does
Oh, God,
anyone
like
remember
Henry
the,
when Blitz hurts.
Yeah. So I remember the end of the Games Master TV shows, and they used to have all the cheat codes at the end of the credits, and you used to have to record them to VHS children and then play it
And
back
then play them
in
slow.
slow-mo so you could write them all down. Hugo Myatt has not changed and has
Really?
not aged since Nightmare.
Wow.
He was at Scarborough Sci-Fi a few years back, so I managed to get an autograph.
Neat.
Because I just go to these events not to sell books but to geek out. And it turns out he's a really nice guy as well, which I was so glad about.
Awesome.
Because some heroes you meet and you're like, well, you're a tool.
Mhm.
But he was just absolutely